editing section, and now we're going to go into the 4-step self-editing sequence. These are 4 steps that you're going to do when you're self-editing, so you know exactly how to approach getting your drafts into tip-top shape. All right, so the first thing that you do when you have your rough draft, the first thing that you do is you're going to do a quick silent reading, okay? You're going to do a quick silent reading. This is where you're going to zoom out from the book. And I want you to literally put yourself like in the mindset of a reader. You want to approach it not from the author, but being a reader. So read through the book quickly and then make notes of sections or areas that sound a little bit off, right? But don't stop reading. Don't stop reading. So if you were a reader, you wouldn't be trying to fix stuff right then, right? So you're a reader now. So you're just going to make a little note, of what you want to bring up later. But don't stop reading, okay? Just make a quick note and keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. That's the first pass that you're going to do through your book. Now, the second step with self-editing is you did that first quick pass. Now you want to think about your reactions. How did the book make you feel? What was the overall idea that you got out of the book, right? So think about your reactions to the book. That's the second thing. You can take notes on this or just think about it. And these things are going to help you go into the third pass. Now, the third pass is what we call like actually fixing. You're actually doing some editing here. The first one was reading silently and just making notes. The second one is where you're thinking about your book. Now, the third step is to actually start to make some changes. So you have the notes that you made in your first quick silent reading. Okay. Now I want you to go through 1 to 2 chapters at a time. No more than that, really, unless you have just a few edits or such. And I want you then to begin to make the changes that you find that you marked up. All right. Now, it's important for you to stay fresh when you're editing. It is very important for you to stay fresh. What that means is that don't try to just edit the entire book in 2 hours. It's just not going to be good for you. Your eyes are going to begin to gloss over the material, and your brain is going to begin to just fill in the gaps for you, because your brain is really magnificent. Your brain is magnificent. You're going to see why, like in the 4th pass that you're going to do. But your brain wants to help you, and it wants to help make your project easier for you. So it begins to kind of fill in the dots for you. And those are not things that are going to be on the paper for other people, though. So because you're intimately connected to your book, you've been in this book for, weeks or months at a time at this point, you kind of know how to make it work, right? You can kind of get the picture of what it is that you're saying. So it's important for you to stay fresh and to stay like detached. And the only way you can do that is to work on just small sections at a time. So maybe 1 to 2 sections at a time. All right. That is super duper important. I also often say, don't try to work on it more than 2 hours at a time. Like if you really have to edit your entire book in a weekend, then let's say you do 2 hours and then you pause for some time. Go do something else. Then come back, do another 2 hours and then you pause and go do something else. You may even break up that 2 hours into smaller bite-sized chunks. So you may say, okay, I'm going to work on 30 minutes hard. I'm going to take a 10-minute break. Then I'm going to come back 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. So the point is to really work on it in chunks of time so that you can maximize your brain power. All right. Now, the 4th step is what we call like the real polishing, right? It's the real polishing. So you've made the changes in the 3rd step, and now you're actually going to like really put some fine tuning on it. So here you're going to print your book out. Print your book out. I know some of you don't like pen and paper, but you really want to print the book out. It is so important to get away from that screen. It's not going to serve you long term staying on the screen. So print out the book, and then you're going to go over it with pen and paper. And when you're reading through this time, I want you to actually read it out loud. So read it out loud. Now, when you read out loud, It's forcing more parts of your brain to work. So you have to read the words that are on the paper. And if you read it slowly, I want you to read the exact words that are on the paper. You know, when I'm working with my daughter with reading, sometimes like I'll notice that she'll try to skip over a word or think that she knows what the next word is going to be, right? So she'll just make up a different word. And that's normal. Like your brain is supposed to use context clues and try to fill in the blank for you. So when you're doing your read it out loud polishing, you want to read slowly and you want to read the actual words that are on the paper. Now, if you find yourself kind of filling in the gaps and mixing up some words, then you can use one of the read aloud functions that our computers and such come with. So in Microsoft Word, there's a read aloud. There's like a read aloud function. I think in Pages for Mac, there probably is one too. I don't use that one. I typically use the Microsoft Word one. But there are services that will read the text out loud to you. The computer uses a super duper crazy voice. However, it reads the exact words that are on the paper. So when you're listening, right, you can then find the areas that are that are weird or words that need to be fixed. Okay. And the last thing to think about when you're doing your self-editing is centered around redundancy. So every author has favorite words that they use over and over again, or even phrases that you use over and over again. Like so is one of mine. That word so, I use it all the time. So, da 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 da. So, da 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 da. Like so, just right now, I use it in my speech too. So, I did it again. But I have to catch it, right? And when I listen to things over and over again, I can catch it. And then I can try to make adjustments to use different words. So you don't want to use the exact same words all the time, okay? Make sure that you can kind of listen. When you hear it, you'll catch them, and then you'll be able to make some of those changes and swap some words out, okay? Now, this is where you're going to pass it over to your professional editor. Once you've gone through these steps, I want you to stop. Don't try to keep going. Don't try to, go over it again and again and again and again. It's going to turn into self-editing quicksand for you at that point. So I want you to stop at this point and then pass it over to your professional editor. From there, you will get the final draft, right? You'll get the final draft. All right. Keep going. We're going to come back in with the professional editing next. But really, if you have any questions about this, post them up, and then let's make sure that you're working through what you need to be working through for your draft. All right, keep going, Power Authors.